Brazil.
So please, you can make it. Right this way.
It's about flights of fantasy and the nightmare of reality.
We're all in this together.
Hey guys, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Jake.
And this is Movie Matters. And we're talking about Brazil from 1985. Jake, what the hell did you think about this movie?
I'll start off by saying I liked it.
Okay.
It's pretty wild and fun, but I feel like it's too long and too repetitive.
Yes.
But
I would
yeah,
agree.
like, overall, it's okay. Like, I don't know if I'd watch it again, but I'm glad we watched it.
See, in all honesty, like I'm definitely on the same wavelength as you for it. I was checking out during a lot of it, to be honest. I just was so checked out during it. And I think it deserves more than that. And I think it deserves a rewatch from my end, but I don't know when that deserved rewatch will be. I just kept saying to myself, how the hell did they make this movie? Because it is so well done, and the set design is incredible. The costumes are incredible. Like, it's just incredibly detailed, and like the art direction, the set design, like how the hell did they do this?
Yeah.
It was mind blowing for 1985, and for it being such a weird movie in general. It was just like every single thing was so detailed in this movie, and that's what I loved the most about it. And I loved the whole satirical side of it, and like how it's a dark comedy. Like, I had no idea that it was going to be that, and a lot of it was really funny.
Yeah.
It's directed by Terry Gilliam. We just did 12 Monkeys. This is our second movie of our dystopian sci-fi month. This movie is very dystopian sci-fi for sure. I love how it like doesn't, it feels old and futuristic at the same time.
Yeah.
And I love that about it. Like, you've got the clothing, like the costume design, like the computers in it. Like, everything feels like an old future, which is really cool.
It's like, they did a good job of kind of like telling a story through all of that like through this like really, oppressive and like tightly controlled regime. Like, they've almost actually regressed technologically in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But they still get the functionality out of it, but it's just like not aesthetically pleasing, and it's not like efficient or like what you would expect from like normal technological advancement. There's a lot in, like, I think I agree with you. Like, the aspects of the movie that I liked are the writing, the set designs, the costume designs, all that kind of stuff. I just feel like the structure was where I think it missed a little bit for me. But yeah, I mean, like, even the like the exterior shots of like the apartment complex, like, it's all like such a weird like architectural style, and like it's really like, it's like it's very like postmodern architecture, where it's trying to pretend to be like classical architecture, but it's doing like a really bad job. And stuff like that, which is like funny to me, because I hate that style, and it's like perfectly exemplary in this movie.
That is funny. Yeah, it feels very like gritty, yet it's not gritty, but like it feels very industrialist, like industrial like.
It's gritty, but everything's like brightly colored. You know,
Yeah.
like it's like like a really like everything kind of has this like facade of like I don't know, like happiness and like success and like you know what, like whatever, you know, but then like everything's like actually like just really shitty. Like the restaurant scene is like the perfect example of that, where like they're like, oh, I'll have you know, like talking about like having like, you know, lobster and like, you know, all this like cool stuff, but it's like just this like nasty like gloop that they bring out, you know, and like you know, at this like very fancy looking restaurant, and like yeah, it's like it's this like everything's just kind of an illusion of like normalcy and like
Yes.
whatever, like even like affluence and you know, like a like healthy functional society, you know.
Yeah, it's like a heightened reality. It's like there's a
Yeah,
lot of
exactly.
aspects that are taken from reality that are so true and very, again, kind of that satirical nature, but also critiquing nature. But a lot of it's also like very true. And there's also like this dreamlike state to it, which we can get into at especially the ending in a sense. And it's very like there's so many different levels of things where it's like you kind of have to watch this more than once, in my opinion, because there's like all this like there's this consumerism, there's this government aspect to it, there's like you know the like wealth is kind of politicized, and like the like with wealth and like your oneself of how they're I'm trying to find the right words for it, how they're like changing their like using plastic
Yeah,
surgery
it's
to
like
like
the,
youthen themselves.
yeah, like it's like the consumerism of like vanity almost,
Yeah.
you know, like yeah,
it's
like the
it's so well
obsession
done
with,
in that.
with it, yeah.
Yeah, but like you said, it's a little long in the tooth with a lot of these things. It's like they're running jokes, but they run a little too long.
Like I mean it's just like, you know, like they make a lot of these satirical, you know, setups and payoffs as like jokes, obviously critiquing all the things you just said, but like after like 10 of them you've pretty much covered the whole gambit, but
Yeah.
there's like 30 or 40 of them. You know, like so
Yeah.
like it just like at some point it just starts to feel very repetitive before you move into like the end game of the narrative, you know, and like that's where I feel like they could have been a little bit more concise with the satire and like the world building aspect of it to get the structure to flow a little bit better.
I mean, what is even the plot besides him trying to go after this girl of his dreams while in the midst of this like political upheaval, almost like I don't know, it's not even an upheaval, it's like this political world that is almost communist like.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's very like what is the plot?
Yeah, I mean, 1984 is kind of similar, and like I think Gilliam has there's been a lot of comparisons between Brazil and
Yes.
1984. Though Gilliam says he's never read it,
I know.
which is surprising, but because like I thought like it was a rule that like all British people had to read that book at some point in their life, but particularly British people, because Orwell was from Britain.
A Brit.
Yeah. But yeah, like I mean, and like 1984 kind of has the same type of thing where it's about a romance amidst this like dystopian, like oppressive political future, you know. And like I mean, it's a great book. I'm not knocking it, you know.
Yeah.
But like it falls into the same type of trap where it's just description after description after description of like how shitty everything is. It's like, yeah, like, you know, we get it, you know, like,
Interesting.
you know, you're not allowed to do anything. Like, okay, understood. Like, you know, and like, but you know, I think it's an important, you know, lesson or takeaway or whatever that like, you know, like oppressive regimes are bad, and you know, like especially the like marriage of like consumerism and like government that we see in this movie is like particularly like hellish, you know.
Yeah.
Like I think one of the most telling like jokes in the movie is when they give the guy's widow the bill for his interrogation.
Yeah.
After killing him, they charge you, you know, for the interrogation, which is like, yeah, a very like on point dystopian like satire joke. Like it's a really, really well executed joke in my opinion. But
I love how that all comes about too, by the way.
Yeah.
The like bug that falls into the printer or the typewriter, if you will, and it like fucks it up. Instead of does Tuttle, it does Buttle.
yeah,
And then an innocent man, you know, gets taken and tortured and killed, which is crazy. And all the while, it's Harry Tuttle, that is played by De Niro, who's the one that should have been taken away, which he's great in this movie.
I had no idea he was in the movie. So like when he showed up, I was like, oh, that's like so random.
I know he had a small role. I remember him being in it. I just was like, what is he? I wonder what role he is, because he doesn't have a large role. And they were like, the crew was excited to have him on board because he's a legend. But as time wore on, they found out like De Niro was such a like research hound of like trying to find his character, and like really particular and very detail oriented. And Gilliam was like, I just want to strangle you. You need to stop. Like, and while usually most of the actors and actresses in this movie apparently only needed 2 to 3 takes, he required like 25 to 30 and was like really demanding. And it was his part was only supposed to be filmed in 1 week, and it was filmed in 2. It basically took twice the time. And Gilliam was like annoyed by this, but obviously grateful to have such a prominent star in his film, which helped its low box office take. But despite the problems he had, and like the butting of heads, if you will, De Niro had an awesome time, he said, and would gladly work with Gilliam again. So it's just, yeah, it's interesting that he's in this. I think every time he like zip lines away from the apartment is the coolest freaking thing in this entire movie.
Yeah,
that shot, and like how do they do that is so incredible. And again, watching this movie, I'm like, how did they make this? How did they do this? Like, it's mind blowing, some of the stuff in this movie, which makes my rating like it should be super high because of that. It's just the story's a little bogged down, like we mentioned, but God, the dream sequences are awesome. Like him flying and then fighting this like samurai is so freaking cool. And then the rock floor that comes out and grabs him is incredible. And like the like weird demon baby like things that are it's just so interesting. But it's so well done. And again, that costume design is ridiculous. Like how this movie only had like a $15 million budget is insane. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it was nominated for 2 Oscars. It was nominated for Best Writing, which is kind of funny, and Best Art Direction, Set Direction. Like, how did it not win? How did it not win that? I don't know. Yeah. Like, it blows my mind. This movie just killed it with all that. The set decoration and all that. Like, how did it not get nominated for costuming? Like,
Yeah. Like even
don't
like the shots of like the ministry and stuff, like the exterior and the interior shots are all like so well designed, and like the like you have the outside, that's like a very like bleak, kind of like giant building. The interior with like the like like typical kind of like government building lobby, where like everything's all marble and stuff, and like the like crappy elevator that only works like half the time, is awesome. And then like then you get down into like where everybody works, and it's just like this absolute like chaos of like papers flying around and like all these people on their like crappy computers, and like it's just so well constructed. Like everything just looks so good.
agreed. And I love how they share a desk between offices.
Yeah.
That was awesome. That's such a great gag,
Yeah,
and
such a good gag.
Yeah, and it's just like the government not giving you your own desk is hilarious. I looked. That was the same year that our one of our favorite episodes, Ron, came out.
Yeah.
And was nominated for a bunch of Oscars.
Did it win set direction? And
No, it won. It won a couple things, but I was just looking. I think, Out of Africa won Best Art and Set Decoration, which I've never seen. That's Robert Redford and Meryl Streep movie, which I've never seen. But it's supposed to be good. I mean, that movie won 7 Oscars, but I wonder if that's Oscar baity. It's 2 hours and 41 minutes.
Yeah.
Yikes. But yeah, I mean, what's cool. So going back to kind of the dystopian set where it feels futuristic, but not. Terry Gilliam has said on several occasions that this movie's not supposed to be set in the future, despite the special effects and bizarre set decoration, hinting at a futuristic setting. He said the film is about the way we live now, which is very interesting.
Like, I think the opening card says somewhere in the 20th century. So
I don't even remember that, to be honest.
Yeah,
There's a lot
like,
of things I don't remember about this movie.
It's right at the very like first thing that you see on the screen is like the clouds, and it says somewhere in the 20th century, and then it goes into him like flying around or whatever. But so like it's supposed to be like contemporary, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think the satire elements are like incredibly well crafted too. I think like everything is just super on point. The jokes are great. I think they get the message across extremely well, which like obviously is the goal of like satire and political satire in particular.
Yeah.
But like sometimes you can get lost in like whatever the primary plot is in some like political satires. But like they did a really good job of like melding the satirical elements into the main plot and like really making them like work together well.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, it's just a little. I mean, I'm trying to think of how long the movie even was. It's like it's just
only
about
like
2 hours.
2 hours.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like an incredibly long movie, but like
2
there's
hours,
just
12 minutes.
There's parts that drag because you already at some point they start just like beating you over the head with the same types of, or like the punchline is the same on the gag,
like
like
the running gag keeps going.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
a different joke, but it's the same punchline. It's like like okay,
I mean, I like the kids playing with the guns. That's a really like big critique. I mean, like I played with guns as kids. I played with, it's such a kid, kind of like it's such a staple in life where the boys play with G.I. Joe and the girls play with Barbie. and it's just interesting because like, you know, you give kids guns and it's like, I mean, it kind of ties into a few of the episodes we've talked about, especially Shutter Island, like Men of Violence. Like we're kind of born with this aspect of guns always in our lives and everything like that. It's very interesting, and that like that just seeing that made me think. It's like, I mean, we played airsoft as kids and paintball as kids, and I had toy guns as a kid, and you know, Nerf guns and guns and guns and guns, and like the whole consumerism aspect of that is very interesting. I don't know, and I feel like that was such a very subtle thing in this movie that I picked up on, that just was like very eye-opening to me.
Yeah, well, I think it's interesting too that like the kids aren't playing like cops and robbers or like cowboys and Indians or like something like that. They're playing like Ministry of Information, and they're like abducting a kid, you know, like they do to Buttle, you know, in the beginning. So like that, I thought was a really good use of that, you know, that like topic, you know, and like hammering home that like how like deeply ingrained the like, you know, like I don't know if it's like brainwashing or whatever, you know, but like it's like all the way down to like children, you know, are like idolizing this type of, you know, behavior from the system or whatever.
Yeah, agreed. It's very interesting. Yeah, I mean, this movie also, like the whole Buttle incident is actually, from what I was reading, it was inspired by a mix-up that occurred in 1934's Night of the Long Knives. Various enemies of Adolf Hitler were arrested and executed. One of the people marked for death was an SA officer named Will Schmidt, but Hitler's men mistakenly killed a music journalist named Will Schmid. And unlike in this movie where Buttle's death is dismissed as an administrative error and his widow is merely refunded the fines he was given, Hitler sent his deputy Rudolf Hess to personally apologize to Schmid's widow and granted her the equivalent of a military widow's pension. Pretty interesting, but like it's inspired by that. Such a small little thing.
Well, one of the like things that they really drive home is how like ambivalent everyone is to the fact that Buttle was killed. You know, and like no one wants to take responsibility for it, and like it's almost treated as like a tedious like paperwork nightmare that like no one wants to deal with, rather than like the death of a person.
Yeah.
So
like, oh, we never mess up. It's basically, which is fun. It's like funny. Like, yeah, the government never messes up. Sure.
Like the main character's boss, when he finds out that the guy died, he's like, oh no. It's like the paperwork I'm going to have to do now. Like, you know, like they're worried about getting the, you know, the check, you know, didn't go to like the right department. And, like, then they have to like figure out like, oh, which department, you know, like get to go to, and like all that stuff, you know, like it just shows like what happens when there's just this like a massive bureaucracy just becomes like no one's like actually worth anything anymore, you know, like in the eyes of the bureaucracy. It's all just, you know, like data on paper, and, you know, it's just something for people to deal with, you know, inside of the bureaucracy.
Yeah, and his boss is played by Ian Holm, Mr. Kurtzman. I love Ian Holm. He's so great. Speaking of, the cast in this is awesome.
Really great, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got Jonathan Pryce, who I always think of as Elliot Carver from Tomorrow Never Dies, James Bond. I always think of him from that. Obviously, you got De Niro. We mentioned Ian Holm. You got Bob Hoskins, who is elite. He's so awesome. Jim Broadbent, who's the doctor. Peter Vaughn, who's Mr. Helpman. I mean, there's so many great people in this. I mean, you got Kim Greist, who plays Jill. She's great. I love Bob Hoskins, and I forget the other guy who is like his partner that they are like the air conditioning guys,
Yeah, yeah.
and
The central services or whatever.
yeah, yep. They're great in this. I love that where he's like, it's an emergency, and then he he puts that form 27B-6 or whatever /6
Yeah.
is super funny. And so that is actually a reference to George Orwell who wrote 1984. He lived at Canterbury Square apartment 27B floor 6 while writing 1984 parts of it. So that's pretty interesting. But yeah, that they're great. And then with De Niro always kind of messing around with them and like putting reversing the like sewage flow or like the poop flow into it, like that was disgusting and gross. But there's such great little scenes like that. And again, like how do they do that? They like fill their suits with all this brown water. Like it's very impressive what they did. Yeah, I think it's so well done. That's really the saving grace of this movie. It's just how well done it is. Yeah, I mean, so there was a lot of pushback from the studio. Sid Sheinberg, the studio head, was pushing back on this movie a lot. He didn't want the movie released in the original form because he thought it was like too pessimistic and the ending was just too like wasn't a typical Hollywood happy ending, and it wasn't like mainstream. This movie is very far from mainstream. Yeah. However, Terry refused to basically back down and change his vision, and he showed it to some movie critics, and they declared it the best movie of the year. And Gilliam eventually won out, and Sheinberg, rather than face embarrassment of keeping such a lauded movie from the public, he gave in to his demands. And it's ironic because that's one of the movie's theme is like standing up to an individual standing up to the system and going against the system that they've always known. And, and it's very interesting. What's also cool is Gilliam also wanted to do a film class during the filming of this movie at USC in California, and he was asked to do a film class at USC, and he agreed. And he basically was going to show a whole cut of the movie, and it became such a notorious thing that he was going to do that like studio executives found out and were like, hey, you can't do that. And literally was like interrupted during a speech to the class by studio executives saying, hey, like, you're like, they called him on the phone. They're like, you can't do this. And, I mean, eventually he ended up showing it regardless. He's like, I don't give a shit, which is cool. And that's where the like film critics saw it and were like, that's the best picture of the year. So it helped push the movie to get to the audience that Terry wanted it to. I wouldn't say it's the best picture, but like, again, I don't know. I can't get over how like well done it is.
Yeah, it's one of those like technically spectacular movies.
Yes.
But like the plot is like, I don't know, it's a solid plot. It's just like the pacing is just not quite there, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not there.
I mean, like the weirdness doesn't bother me either. Like I thought it was really cool and like imaginative and fun.
Yeah.
But like, there's only so many times you can give me the same joke, and then it's like, yeah, like, I get it. Like, you don't have to sell me on how shitty like this place is,
Yeah, agreed. What do you think of the ending?
So I mean, this is like, I don't know. It's kind of shitty, but like, you know, it's I don't know. I feel like this is like one of those movies where it's like, what do you choose to believe as like, I mean, it's not ambiguous, but like,
Yeah.
you know, do you want to side with, you know, the main character and just kind of like be happy and, you know, like check out, or like deal with the reality of, you know, being crushed by the system, you know, like it's a little bleak, but
Definitely a bleak ending.
again, I think it fits the tone of the movie though. So
Yeah.
I'm not,
like-
I don't have like complaints about it.
Yeah, like how does one man stand up against such a huge establishment? It's yeah, and even Gilliam himself admitted that the conclusion of the movie was bleak, but he also that was the first idea he came up with, and that's how he like started this idea for the movie. He asked himself like, what kind of story would have a man going insane as a happy ending? Because it's a happy ending for the for Sam Lowry, the main character, but he felt that refusing to give in to an inhumane society and going into a state where he cannot be further hurt via torture or death or anything else was a redemptive victory after a cold, awful life.
Yeah.
Like, that's bleak as fuck.
Yeah.
But
Well, I think it's even more painful because they give you the false heroic rescue and
Yes.
stuff and then rip it away from you.
yes, which that rescue is very interesting because it's like, it's violent, but it's not very violent. Like, it feels, you can almost, you're like, this feels very fake. Like,
Yeah.
you know, people are shooting at each other like point blank and nothing's really happening.
Yeah, there's
Type
no
of-
blood.
type of
It's
thing.
not like gory. But like, yeah, there's a lot of like acts of violence.
Yeah,
And
and
they
that
blow the whole building up and stuff. Like,
yeah, that whole shot of like the police coming down the stairs with their guns like all in a line is so awesome, and that's actually a reference to the battleship Potemkin, and that's like where they have, and it's basically used in. You remind me, have you seen The Untouchables?
yeah,
Where the baby's going down the stairs?
yeah,
That's the same thing in like the battleship Potemkin, and this is paying homage to that, which is pretty cool. But yeah, and that's with like the vacuum cleaner. But then you get that like literally, like, it's just the obliviousness is also another theme, and it's like you've got that like lady that's vacuuming and like buffing the floor, and she just gets like shot in the head during all this chaos. It's the obliviousness to it, which is interesting. Like all the explosions going on when they're like eating dinner and like half the people don't care. They're just like still sitting there, like, because they're like used to this, and it's like, yeah, it's just
it's
fine.
like
It's
the
fine.
normalization of like dysfunction. You know,
Yes.
like yeah,
That's a great way to put it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, again, this movie I think deserved more of my attention, to be honest. I just wasn't in it and into it as much as I should have been. I definitely want to rewatch it. I just don't know when. I mean, what else do you think? I mean, that's literally all I got for it. I literally took like zero notes when I was watching it because I was just like trying to get immersed in it, but also I was like checked out. But again, I kept saying like, how the fuck did they make this?
yeah. I don't know. I did read that you know, Gilliam had started with, like you said, like the end basically as his idea,
Yeah.
and he like worked backwards and had a bunch of like what he kind of referred to as like vignettes of these like, you know, these like dystopian kind of scenes, but he couldn't figure out how to piece them together properly. So he hired somebody else, the second guy that's credited as a writer. I didn't do my research.
It's fine. There's Tom Stoppard and Chris McEwen.
Yeah, so I think he hired Tom Stoppard to take a crack at it. He pieced a lot of it together, but Gilliam didn't like the direction he was taking it. So then he gave it to who's left?
Charles McEwen.
Yeah, Charles McEwen. And they like got on the same wavelength, and they're like, oh yeah, like here's how we gotta, like, this is where it's gotta go. And like, you know, he agreed that like they needed to have that like bleak but like somewhat, you know, like bittersweet kind of ending. So like that's what they were like driving towards.
Interesting. Also, like the title Brazil, I mean, I didn't know that was that song. Like dun, 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 dun. That's pretty cool. And like the whole soundtrack is basically like reworkings of that, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
And then I was reading that the ventilation, like all these like vents and like tubing is like symbolic of like it's an umbilical relationship to the people and their government, which is interesting. So that was cool. Yeah, there's a lot of symbolism that again I need to like review again, because I feel like there's so much we could talk about with this movie, but again I was like checked out during a lot of it. That I would need to rewatch it again. But I guarantee there's a million other things that you could pick up on and dissect this movie with, which is pretty cool. Which makes for its rewatchability, even though it is a slow-ish paced movie. So,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think you kind of convinced me that I need to watch it again at some point too.
Oh, good. Yeah. I mean, talking about it makes me like it more, but it's like, again, a lot of it was kind of forgetful because it was repetitive, and I just checked out during a lot of it. I think I just need to be in a different mood when I watch it the next time. But yeah, I mean, I bought it on Amazon. It was like $5. It was like $1 more than renting. I was like, I'll just buy it. So, yeah. So dystopian sci-fi. I mean, this we watched a lot of good dystopian sci-fi. What do you think was the best?
Oh man. God, I gotta.
I mean, Blade Runner is just so classic.
Yeah.
But this movie might, in terms of dystopian vibes, this might be like the best in terms of those.
Yeah, I mean, like this and yeah, if you want to go off of like the actual theme.
Yeah, I mean, this and
like
Escape.
12 Monkeys is also pretty.
Escape, yeah. Fuck, they're all so good.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite is 2049 of these four.
Me too.
Just
12 Monkeys is a close second, though.
Yeah, 12 Monkeys is awesome. I think Escape from New York's probably my least favorite.
Interesting.
Not that it was bad, but
yeah, I could see that though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
That makes sense.
It's just an absolute masterpiece. So
it is.
It's hard to be like.
It is. Yeah. Well, next month we've got First Watches.
Yeah.
And we're doing some. I think what did we do? We did the IMDb Top 250. We were like, let's just look through there and see if there's something we've been wanting to watch. I think that's what we did. So we've got Witness for the Prosecution, which I'm excited for. Mm-hmm. We've got The Great Dictator, The Hunt, and Naked Lunch. So,
yeah, I'm excited. Witness for the Prosecution is one of like 5 movies on Rotten Tomatoes that has like 100% score.
Really?
I think Treasure of Sierra Madre is one of them also. So yeah, I'm excited for that one. I'm excited for Charlie Chaplin in The Great Dictator also.
Yes, me too.
And like in typical form, Instagram's been showing me a bunch of stuff about The Hunt that I've been trying not to look at.
Oh, really? Interesting. I've heard. I mean, it's
Every time I see Mads Mikkelsen's face, I just scroll past it. I'm like, stop showing me this.
all of his like Danish movies are so good. Yeah, he's a really good. He's awesome. I'm excited for that. So, yeah, that should be a fun month. I mean, I'm all for watching something I've never seen, and that includes this movie. I'm glad. I've been wanting to watch Brazil for a long time because I knew it was Terry Gilliam and I like him. And like I was looking at his filmography and he's directed some like pretty good stuff. And like I need to get more into his filmography. I mean, I didn't know he did. I call me dumb, but I didn't know he did Monty Python.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I need to watch Monty Python again because that stuff is so funny. But as a kid, I never was super into it. I never really watched it.
Me and my brothers loved Monty Python and the Holy Grail. We used to watch it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, and so, I mean, I'm looking forward to all these movies. So, I'm glad we watched this one. I know there's more to talk about it with this one, but I'm sorry that I just didn't have it in me when I watched it. So maybe we'll have it for the next one.
Yeah.
So yeah, keeping with the schedule. So next week, witness for the prosecution. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We'll catch you next week.
Yep. See ya.